Just make sure this chair is flipped.
Wake up in a panic, we're in over our heads again. We know this is what we're meant to do. So we wake up, put our feet on the floor, go and conquer the day like a warrior, like warriors. Cause that's what a tribe does. We got your back so you can relax and focus on all the important stuff, like getting your business done. This is our tribe. We look out for each other. That's right, that's right. This is our tribe. We help each other grow in business and life. That's right, that's right. No need to panic anymore. We got lots of support and an army of warriors by our side. We fight the good fight when we unite. We fight the good fight when we unite. Cause that's what a tribe does. We got your back so you can relax and focus on all the important stuff, like getting your business done. This is our tribe. We look out for each other. That's right, that's right. This is our tribe. We help each other grow in business.
Good morning, good afternoon. Hello, my name is Sondra Ray, and I am the host of ProTech Coffee Shop Show. I am here with the amazing leader, birthday boy, king of the tribe, Peter. How are you today, sir?
I think I'm feeling older.
You're getting older? Well, when it's your birthday, that's kind of how that happens.
Yeah, and this on camera, I think it looks blonde, but this is all gray. It's
Oh,
all
yeah, mine's all gray. I let mine go gray. I was like, meh, it's not worth the time, money, and energy. So, yep,
yeah.
yep. I'll be 50 in July. I embraced it this last year. I was like, yep, gray shows wisdom. That's what I get told. Silver and gray shows wisdom. We'll go with that. Well, speaking of turning another year older, well, that kind of fits the topic. We're talking about retirement and building wealth as an entrepreneur. Because yes, as an entrepreneur, you can retire, you can build wealth. These are things you can do as an entrepreneur. I know sometimes, not sometimes, a lot of us get in the weeds of doing our business and a profit and paying for the now. Um, but you do need to plan for your future, for your business future, for yourself, for your family, for your legacy. And this actually ties into my other business, which is wealth planning. So totally fits my wheelhouse because I do help people get that done. In the United States at the moment, we're expanding. We're in 30 countries. I'm not personally, but I can help people in other. I can help internationally with other resources. So this does fit everybody. So if you're on YouTube, say hello. I always like to see who's there. So basically, well, obviously, it's about planning. It's about setting up a plan. What is your goal? Do you want X amount of money? Do you want to sell your business? Do you want passive income? Do you want passive income that can be handed down generation to generation? That is such a thing. Um, are you going to do a trust? Are you going to do like, how are you going to set it up? Who's in charge of it? And all those things play a huge factor in that. And again, I know as new entrepreneurs, that's like, feels like it's thousands of years ahead, but it's not. The truth is, tomorrow is not promised to anyone. So having that plan from the get-go, um, I do help with trust, wills and trusts. So that is something we do as part of wealth planning because again, um, people can't read your mind, for one. Two, I would bet 90% of your family don't know where a single document is unless you have like showed them where things are. And unfortunately, I've lived that. Like I've had to turn a desk upside down after my mother passed away because we didn't know where anything was. So I lived and learned on that. Um, anyway, she didn't have things updated. So there's just so many pieces to this that we can go in different directions. But some of the things to talk about long-term planning is really about where you want to put your money. Of course, you're putting your money into your business, but what else can you be doing? This is some crazy facts I've learned since being in the financial industry is that um, the reason the wealthy don't pay taxes is not because they've paid somebody off. There's vehicles that were designed in the Depression age for people to protect their money, for it to grow, so it wasn't taxed, and they're still using it even though it's that old. And that's also why financial companies have been around for hundreds of years, like hundreds. So, one of the stories I really like to tell is that Walt Disney could not find anybody to invest in anything from the get-go. So he put his money in a vehicle that was going to make him money, and that's how he funded his first theme park. It was not because people believed in him. It wasn't because banks was like, oh yeah, this is a great deal. Let's dump money in. It literally was him putting his money into a vehicle that would help grow money quickly so he could take money out and move money around as needed to build a theme park. It's actually banks do it, Fortune 500 companies do it. There's so many different people that done it that you don't have to like figure it out. There's people like myself that are financial people that like my services are free. I don't get paid by the client. I get paid by the products, people that sell the products. And we're a distribution company, so we're not just with one company. We work with like 30 different companies. So it's like we get you the best for your situation. So definitely, I think that's one of the things is to make sure you get an expert that has your care in mind. And talk to them about how you set up your business. We do work with businesses on how to set up not only stuff for themselves, but also their employees. Like there's different things you can do. Our company works with churches. We are very big in churches. 90% of pastors have zero type of retirement. Churches do not fund that, unfortunately. So we definitely work with different things. But there's also lots of books out there. Of course, you're going to get different opinions by people, and you got to figure out what works best for you. I think that's one thing I've always loved in my first business, and then the second one is that I want to tailor to the person, not vice versa. Like I want their goals. What are their goals? How are we going to meet their goals? Versus my method is the only method, and da da da. It's just not the way I work personally, and I do find a lot of people like that because it can be very off-putting. So there's definitely you can go your true tried savings, a savings account, which honestly is like the terriblest thing you can do, to be honest. Yeah, you will make like if you're lucky 1% on your money. So savings accounts are not great. Do I have one? Yes. For easy access, honestly, it's really the only reason. And I've moved away. Most of my money's on it now. But there are annuities. There's life insurance. There's funeral expenses. People that are in their 80s can still get coverage. I think that's the other notion out there is that people can't get covered. There's usually something out there for someone, which always that gives you that puzzle to figure it out. So definitely. Passive income in your business. How can you create passive income in your business? Is it a product? Is it a course that just keeps selling and it goes into an account and somebody knows where that is and stuff? I firmly believe in multiple streams of income because that's just the world we are in today. Because in a snap, something can be taken away that, wasn't originally there or that you thought would be there long term. So multiple streams of income is definitely something that's extremely important. Peter, come on in.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting topic. Myself and Esteem were actually discussing this a while back. Pretty much when we started in business, because you become an entrepreneur to live a very particular life or a particular lifestyle. And over time, that lifestyle changes. Either it becomes more expensive, you understand what things cost, um, and then you look at retirement and you try and figure out how much do you need in order to retire comfortably. And if I had to figure out today, if I had to retire right now and I needed a certain amount of money to be comfortable, to be able to live off the interest. So if I'm looking at, okay, I need a certain amount of money, I need to invest that money, and the interest that I get, I need to be able to comfortably live on. The amount would be in excess of between 8 and 10 million rand that I would need to be able to go, okay, I have between 8 and 10 million rand invested, and I can comfortably live off the interest. However, that's today. Tomorrow is not today. A year from now is not today. 5 years, 10 years. So then we've got to look at how much does the cost of living change from year to year. So what I require to retire today is not what I will require in 5 years. In 5 years, it will be more than between 8 and 10 million rand. So there's a lot of things that you've got to take into consideration. There's a lot you have to take into consideration. You can't just go, oh, okay, well, in 10 years' time, if I have between 8 and 10 million rand, that's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're out there and you're just kind of planning for tomorrow, planning for today, planning for tomorrow, stop it. You've got to put some kind of plan into action. You've got to put something in place. And if what you're doing is not able to do that, change your plan. Do something else. Find something. We're entrepreneurs. That's what we do. Use your entrepreneurial spirit and figure out what am I going to do to be able to survive and earn and put aside, and how much do I need and how does my plan need to work? If you don't have that plan in place, 10 years goes past like this. I'm in my late 40s now, almost 50s. How much time do I have to get to my goal? And what is life going to look like living off the interest of the money that I've put aside? And that's all based on just living comfortably. I didn't say in the life of luxury. This is like the minimal plan to be able to retire, have a roof over my head, and food in my belly. But we obviously all want more than that. We want to grow and build. I mean, I'm in business because I want to be rich. I'm not ashamed to say it, because I know my intentions behind being wealthy. The wealthier I am, the bigger the changes I can implement in the industry that I'm in. Unfortunately, money in my industry talks, and pretty much in every industry. You got money and you talk, people generally listen because you've got money. It's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. So I don't even think plan for being comfortable. I don't even think plan for being comfortable. I think like really put it out there. And if you don't have a plan, or you don't know how to create a plan, or you're not too sure which direction to go in, well, I mean, there are people to talk to. There are people to talk to you. If you do this over this period of time, or if you invest in this now instead of later, your funds can grow like this or at this rate, or then you can always build on that. But you have to start somewhere. You just have to.
Yeah, 100% agree. The start. That's like the biggest word is start. Think about, yeah, what do you want life to look at? Whether you're an entrepreneur in your 20s or an entrepreneur in your 50s or somewhere in between. A lot of people do entrepreneurship later in life, and bank on a business. But then I'm also watching businesses go, yeah, bottom out and drop, and everything from MLs to everything in between. So that's what diversify, I guess is the other word I could say. Diversify, diversify, diversify. Even if you are a business owner, still diversify. So maybe you're a business owner in this, and maybe you're invested in real estate and something else over here, and then you have, packages or vehicles for investment over here. I'm saying this because I have it all. Like literally going to get paid out on my first real estate investment next month. So super excited for that. And I started small. It was $1,000. It wasn't like this huge investment. I had to have all this money, and it's called fractional real estate. Did my homework, knew the people, knew da 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 da. So can you get taken for a ride? Of course. I mean, there's always people out there that don't have the best intentions. So it's on you to do your due diligence to um, talk to people, referrals, people that have worked with them, and make sure they do know what they're talking about. Um, so definitely, and like you said, today's price is not tomorrow's price ever. And things. Um, my mentor is always, when he does his presentations, he's like, "Do you think taxes are going to go up or down?" Everybody says up. Hello, everybody says up. Um, in the US, do you think Social Security is going to run out? Probably. Do you think the Social Security don't cover people, don't give enough for people to even live on right now, let alone in the future? So relying on those things is not going to get you there. It's really on you to do your homework. And as an entrepreneur, of course, we don't have a lot of that stuff, retirement plans from business or former work or whatever. So all the more reason for you to build your own. But either way, even if you are an entrepreneur, you work a 9 to 5, build your own. Build it, build it, build it. Build it and review it. Because again, today's prices are not the same as tomorrow's. The world, especially in the US, has flipped upside down, sideways, backwards, and I think it's back up right. Who knows? Maybe. Depending on who you talk to. So and I know other countries are the same. A lot of stuff has happened in the last 6 months to a year that has turned not only their country over or upside down, but also, financially upside down. So you can't rely on that. You can't rely on the government. Like it's silly. And I mean, I have a federal employee that's our bread and that's honestly our main income. So and we've been through it the last couple of months. So relying on that's crazy. So as an entrepreneur, you get to build it. I think that's the good thing about entrepreneurship. You get to build it. You get to choose what it looks like. You're not tied to an employer's funds or employer's this or employer's that, which by the way are usually a bunch of crap and will not make you money. They will cost you money. But anyways, so education, that is our biggest thing about financial education. And you have to get that, go for that. And that's why I want to do financial literacy so bad this month, was because people are not educated. I wasn't educated. I didn't get taught to budget until I was getting married for the first time. Like all those things are just not something you get taught to do. But come on in. Oh, Peter, come on in.
Um, I think I'd like to throw in the topic of flexing. A lot of entrepreneurs seem to do that. I'm an entrepreneur. All of a sudden, I'm doing really well. My finances are great, and I need to flex to show off my finances. So I wear the latest watch and I drive the latest car, and it's a flex that lasts for now. It's to show off for now. If you're extremely wealthy and a flex costs you nothing, it's no skin off your nose, go ahead, buy the expensive watch, buy the expensive car. If you are an entrepreneur and you have a plan to get to a certain goal, flexing might not be a very good idea. The plan in the background is better than the flex. Can I afford to go and buy the latest car? Yes, I can do that. Do I drive the latest car? No, I do not. I have a car, it has 4 wheels, it gets me to where I need to go, and it's pretty and shiny when I polish it. That's it. I don't wear a watch. My phone tells me the time. What do I need a watch for? I can just look at my phone. So I think these things that a lot of entrepreneurs need to understand is that success can sometimes be fleeting. You have like an episode of success, and you think it's going to last forever. It might. It also might not. So this is where you have to be smart. Just because you can afford to do something doesn't necessarily mean that you should. And just because it makes you look a particular way doesn't mean that you are. So I often will walk into a place and no, I can afford that car, no problem. Um, but I'm not going to go in dressed like I am dressed for success. I'll go in my jeans and my tackies because I'm comfortable in jeans and tackies, and I don't need to walk around looking the smartest and wearing the latest watch. I just don't need it. What I do need is I need to put those finances in a place where it works towards my plan. So when I get to the age where I want to retire, I can look back and go, oh, I can retire now. What would I like to do next? You know, where can I feel comfortable? Well, I can now live comfortably. I can enjoy my life, but I don't want to enjoy my life now at the risk of not being able to enjoy it when the time is right. And for a lot of entrepreneurs, it's a daily grind. We we work hard so that we can survive. And that plan is part of the survival because it's going to get to a point where we cannot work any longer. We can no longer work. It's time to retire. It's time to relax and enjoy the fruits of our labor. We've worked really hard to get to this point. If you are flexing too early and also without the financial knowledge that you need, can I even afford to flex? How many times have we seen people that are maybe famous and they become famous overnight and they're well known and all of a sudden they've got the latest Mercedes, they've got multiple cars, they've got multiple watches, a watch for every day of the week, diamond crusted, blah blah blah, fish paste. Those things don't mean anything. They really don't. And how many times have we seen them lose absolutely everything? That diamond watch ain't going to help you, and it's not going to get you to where you're going. I'm not saying don't do it if you can afford to. If you can afford to, go ahead. But educate yourself. Educate yourself on what can I do? What should I be doing? What's the wisest thing to do? And then rather gear yourself towards your plan of being able to step back and go, I've done what I needed to do. I can retire and I can be comfortable and I can live my life. It's kind of the point of being an entrepreneur. But this whole fleeting moment thing where, oh, look, I'm going to flex this, I'm going to flex that. I look successful, but I run out of steam and it doesn't work out. So I live beneath my means because living beneath my means that I can implement my plan. So for me, I think it's the smart thing to do. So just because you can afford something doesn't mean you should. Be wise with the money that you have. Be wise where you put it. Be wise on what your return on investment is. This whole thing of, I mean, even what do they call it? This whole thing of people thinking they can make money fast. It doesn't exist. It does not exist. This whole thing of, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to put my money into this. I'm going to make fast money. There's no such thing. That's called gambling. Don't do it. Don't do it. You will lose what you've built. Long-term investments, be smart. If you have to live beneath your means to get to your planned goal, live beneath your means. Because it's got purpose. There's a purpose in it. If you can afford to live above your means, then by all means, go ahead. But if you can't, then you're going to have to be smart. Amen.
No, for sure. For sure. And I know in my personal experience, as a new business owner, I was like, okay, I got money in, so I should go invest it in the newest thing or so and so selling, da 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 da. So let me go get this. Learn from my mistakes, please. Um, and then everybody's like, well, how did you do that? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, I racked up debt and now I'm still paying it off. So, like you said, Peter, just because you have the money doesn't mean you need to spend the money. we have the term, it's burning a hole in your pocket. Let it burn the hole and stay there. Um, so definitely, I'm not saying that you shouldn't invest in your business because there is but it's kind of a fine line. Like invest in your business and flexing, I think are two different things. Flexing is just to flex to look a certain way. Investing in your business is to grow and scale your business. Those are two separate terms. Um, I'm the same way. I'll wear a t-shirt and jeans. I've had to buy some business attire in the last couple of months just to go to conferences. So I'm like, I haven't had any business attire for a really long time. But yeah, you can definitely plan that. And I like the analogy you said about what does that look like? What does that look like? I'm chilling at home, with, the basics, or am I got I don't know, a beach house in, or, what does that look like to you? And again, I don't think anybody can tell you what it is to you. My first marriage, they had a vacation home, and that was something very new to me. And super grateful they worked hard. I mean, they worked very, very, very hard for it. Um, and it wasn't anything fancy, but it was someplace I could go and da 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 da. So what does it look like for you? Is your it's your it's your dream, it's your path. So, and again, like Peter said, it's going to twist and turn. Entrepreneurship, we already know entrepreneurship's not a straight line. I don't know anything in life right now that is a straight line. Maybe a baby growing. I mean, that's about the only thing is a straight line. I'm not 100% sure of that either anymore. Um, so expect the bumps, expect the potholes, review. I cannot probably stress that word as much as what you invest in, but review your investments. Have a person in your corner, have an expert in your corner. We've talked about bookkeepers, we've talked about CPAs and lawyers. An investment or wealth builder, what do you want to call financial educator, consultant, whatever you want to call them. There's different terminologies out there. Again, do your due diligence of research on that. But that's another expert to have in your pocket because, again, life's going to happen, things are going to happen. Maybe the business does get an instant overnight success. You get that $1 million client. That's great. But what do you do with the $1 million? You're not going to go buy. They talk about the lotto. Most lotto people, it's like 80% of lotto winners are broke within their first 6 months because they go out and are crazy with their money. My husband always tells me we're going to CPA first and an accountant and a lawyer if we ever win. And I always laugh. I'm like, yep, that's him. Yeah, we're not going to go buy the fancy stuff. So yeah, Peter, come on in.
Finally, when you talk about the like the $1 million clients. Well, I mean, I won't say $1 million because I live in South Africa, so I have the million rand clients. And one of the principles that I've put in place that when I've got a $1 million client is that I've got to figure out how much of that is my profit. How much am I making on that? How much of that profit am I willing to spend on myself to congratulate myself for that particular client and the job that's been done and when the project is complete, and how much of that am I going to invest? And the percentage that I spend on myself is actually really small. It's almost like I think the last contract we did, I think I bought myself a motorcycle. And it wasn't the latest motorcycle, it wasn't the best motorcycle, it was one that I'd been wanting for a long time. I managed to find one. I bought it. It was my congratulations to myself. But the majority of those finances, and I think this was a client from quite a while ago. The majority of those finances I still have. I still have. It's invested. I still have it because I invested it. And because I invested it, it's worth more now than when I got paid. So you got to be. The one thing you do have to understand, though, is that if you do not spoil yourself, but you have to see some fruit from your labor. So put aside a small amount to thank yourself, and to live and to enjoy life. but the percentage that gets invested always needs to be way bigger than the amount, because people think, oh, I'm going to do this million rand client. Now I've got access to this much funds and I'm just going to do X, Y, and Z. And the next thing you know, it's all gone. It's all gone. It disappears. Money disappears so quick. We don't seem to understand. It's like water through your fingers. Um, Here today, gone tomorrow. Easy come, easy go. It's generally how the world works. And the world is expensive. So you got that 1 million rand client. It doesn't mean you're getting another one. You have to work really, really, really hard to land those contracts, which is something I'm learning at the moment. I have to make sure that I've got the next client coming in. I have to make sure that there's a client lined up after that. Um, Without doing that, I cannot guarantee that I will be ready when it's time to retire. So that percentage that I'm putting away is currently earning me money because it's a nice lump sum. The smaller clients that I have, I will take from that and then add it to that, and then add it to that, and add it to that, so that my lump sum becomes bigger, and then the return on my investment becomes more. Um, so do treat yourself, but don't treat yourself to the degree that you've got nothing left. You have to
Yeah.
exceed.
Exactly. I mean, yes, I've definitely we were just talking before the show started. Like I done this as a year of travel and I'm going to travel. Like I've already traveled more than I have in the last couple of years. But I have more trips to plan and going to do my first full on international. I've done a cruise, so I guess I've done an international trip, but first international and get that planned to come to Africa and meet people in person. I'm super excited. Uh and a lot of people are like, well, you can't take things with you, da da da. I'm like, but you can make memories. You can create memories for you and your family and your employees and the community, your community, like you said, people that want to give back to the community and all those things. There are a lot of things you can invest in where you can um, take the money as you need it and still leave money for taking care of you, taking care of your family after you're gone. Um, there's things that you can do to ensure people don't have to worry about money after you're gone, that the wealth is there, the legacy is there. Um, Again, it's about education. It really is. It's about education and knowing your options. Because of course, what is available in Africa and available in the UK and available in the US and available in Canada is going to be different. Um, so definitely know your options, know your numbers. I know a lot of people are like, I don't want to know my numbers. I'm guilty. I was guilty of not knowing my numbers. Knowing your numbers, knowing that, like Peter said, putting that chunk away and then slowly adding to it is going to keep it growing, depending on how it's invested, of course, but it's going to keep it growing and it's there. Um, you know, um, my husband slightly considered maybe retiring this year with all the craziness going on. Um, and he was just like, "Are we okay to retire?" And I can honestly say, I know the numbers and he doesn't, which is not a good thing. You're both should know the numbers. So again, they're from a mistake. Both sides should know for the numbers. I think the youngest one was just like, "Mom, you realize I'd have to go find everything because Dad doesn't know where anything's at. So don't do that. Make sure somebody, um, and then make sure somebody outside of your house also knows where things are at. In case something, God forbid, happens to the whole family inside the house, but make sure that somebody knows that too. Um, but I think the biggest thing for me is get educated, make a plan, review a plan, have a plan. So education, plan, review a plan, have a plan. Plan is there 3 times for a reason. Um, because again, life is going to throw the plan around. And if you don't review it, unfortunately, I ran into a situation where a company was taking advantage for 2 years, taking a premium they didn't need to be, wasn't supposed to be taking, da 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 da. And it wasn't until they went to move things and hired an educator to find out that for 2 years a company had been taking money they were not shouldn't have been taking. Um, and again, if they've reviewed every year or reviewed frequently, then and thankfully now their niece is an agent and it's helping them now. But again, it's 2 years of money that was taken that was not rightfully the company's and da 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 da. And this is, companies that have been around for a long time. So it's on you to do your due diligence, even if when you do hire the experts, the CPA, the accountant, the bookkeeper, the financial expert, you still need to know your numbers. It's still on you. Yes, you have these experts, I don't know my numbers, my CPA knows your numbers. Well, what if your CPA, God forbid, dies tomorrow? Like, where are your numbers? Do you know how to get your numbers? What is the backup system? Um, how many accounts do you have? Do you know what all your accounts are? And we've heard horror stories of CPAs and experts taking off of people's money. And again, but it's on you to know where everything is and what's going on. So, um, yeah, as you can tell, I'm passionate about this. I think because I have been in this field for a year now. And I had already had some education before this, thankfully. The last 4 or 5 years, I've actually had a financial coach at one point. They don't teach us in school. I mean, I know there's entrepreneurship programs out there, but I would guess not many talk about wealth and retirement when you're taking an entrepreneur class. I don't know that for a fact, but I would think, I don't know, probably not. I know they don't teach it in high school. Flat out, they don't teach it in high school. My youngest, that's graduated, can tell you flat out that they don't teach it in school. Um, so yeah, the bottom line is it's on you to get educated. You can plan, and you can, as an entrepreneur, you can plan for your retirement. That is such a thing. Because some people, I'm gonna, it's my business, I want to work it till I die. That's true. That is your choice. But what happens to it after it's gone, after you're gone? Even if you don't retire from it, well, what happens to it when it's gone, when you're gone? Is it handed to somebody else? Does it just poof? Doesn't just poof. Well, I guess it can poof. But where does it go? What happens afterwards? And so on. Peter, come on in. We will start wrapping up.
Yeah, I think if you're an entrepreneur and you're out there and you're listening to us speak and you're going, oh my goodness me, I can't afford to put money aside. I'm living from day to day. I'm just struggling to get by. Well, number one, you're an entrepreneur. You're designed to get by. So you're getting by, but you're listening to the topic of conversation and going, oh, look at these people. They can put money away, or they can put money aside, or they can make a plan. Well, the reality is that you should be able to make a plan too. You should. And if you're not in a position financially because you're living day to day, you're doing your business and the money that comes in daily feeds you daily. If you're in that situation, then and you need help to come up with a plan, whether you need somebody to look at your business model, whether you need somebody to look at your plan, your revenue streams, where are you making your money, how are you making your money? Is there a different way of looking at how you make your money? Could you possibly grow and make more money? Or are you stuck in the way that you're doing things and just taking day by day? These are conversations that you can have, and there are people to have those conversations with. Get yourself into a position that you can take money and put money aside. Does it look impossible? Yeah, everything looks impossible. We're entrepreneurs. We do the impossible. There's a whole big wide world out there. We have access to the world on Zoom. We have access to people around the world. We can create products. We can design things. We can build things. We can sell our courses. We can sell our content. We can sell our, you name it, we can build it. We can sell it. We can create a plan. We can make it happen. That's what we do. We are entrepreneurs. If you don't have that plan, speak to someone. Speak to someone. When you get to the point where you can start putting money aside, then speak to somebody else and speak to somebody else and build it out. It is possible. How do I know it's possible? I've done it. I've done it. For a few years of my life, I took a sabbatical. I'm taking time off. I'm not doing anything else. I'm going to be a bartender and I'm going to live on my finances day to day. I did that for 4 years. And when the time was right, I started my business, and my business had to grow and I had to learn the hard way. Hence the fact that I ate copious amounts of rice. But you have to get to a point where you are not just dreaming about the plan that you're going to make, you actually have to make the plan and make the plan happen. So if you're in that situation where you're like, oh, I've just started and I don't know how I'm going to get there, we have an entire community of entrepreneurs that you can speak to. How did they do it? Ask them. How did you get to where you are? What did you do? What decisions did you make? Oh, I have a decision to make. I don't know which one to choose. There are people to ask. That's what this community is all about. So we'll put our links in the description. Sondra is an incredible person to speak to if you're looking for a plan, because I don't think anybody, and it's not only about a plan, it's about being held accountable to that plan so that you can achieve said plan. Come on now, it doesn't get simpler than that. So reach out, have a conversation.
Yep.
Mm.
Conversations are free. Seriously. And I do know people that charge for conversations. I get that. That's not me. That's not Peter, to be honest. That's not the way Explore ProTech works. We have conversations because that's what we want to do. We want to build each other out. That's why it's called Explore ProTech Community, Coffee First, Business Later. So we want to have that. We want to know, what does that look like? What does that picture look like? How are you going to get there? Yes, accountability is huge. Not only for you and your business, but for holding accountable the people you hire to help you. Like if you're hiring a CPA, if you're hiring, like there's checks and balances, a coach, advisor, whatever that is, looks like for you. So definitely. Again, super, super happy to talk to anybody. And yes, I can help people internationally with planning. I have those resources. So definitely don't think just because you're not in the US that I can't help you. I can help. I have experts and people in my pocket and that I've built around me for that reason. So for sure. We want to thank Susan. Speaking of people in our pocket, we have the amazing Susan, who is a bookkeeper too. So she can help with numbers. Not only that, but she does help do our show descriptions, show notes, cover, and she turns it into a podcast. So please share our YouTube channel. Please share our podcast. We are wrapping up financial the next couple of weeks and then moving on to marketing and branding. So important things. Susan is working on scheduling out the shows so you can mark the shows to get notifications of when we go live. So you can do that. And you can also plan on your calendar, like I want to go to this show. So look for that in our channel. If you go under the live, you can see what's been scheduled for the future. My name is Sondra and I'm the owner of Get It Done, and I help you plan so you can get things done. Peter, take us out.
Awesome. So that brings us to a close of this particular show. Sondra, thank you so much. Once again, I love the topic. A scary one, but a necessary one. So appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, that being said, with the saying from our notorious esteemed